Welcome back, everybody, to the previously named and now currently unnamed Big Motor Small Blade Cars Tour Show. I'm Seth Dolby, who exists, and I have Chuck Folsom here, the lead front stretch Cars Tour reporter. And he just, and by just I mean a few days ago, got back from Cordele, not Cordele, not Cordele, Cordele, for the first Cars Tour race in Georgia, correct? Yeah. So
I love that that's our intro now. We got to keep that.
I like it. It works.
Yeah.
It rolls.
We've got a Chunk appearance possibly in the background.
Oh,
hey, Chunk. How's it going?
Hi.
Chunk
says,
recording.
hey, everybody. Yeah,
Hi,
we are
Chunk.
recording. So, hi, Chunk. Okay, leave. Thank you. Great start to the show.
Yeah.
So, before we really get into, driver specific stuff, I want to talk about Cordele a little bit, and some of the issues we had that were not the track's fault. So for starters, beautiful facility. My buddy Reed Scott, who also works for Front Stretch, he talked down on it quite a bit, being a Supers guy down in Supers land. I guess he goes to nicer facilities for photographers, and I was expecting kind of a shithole, I won't lie. And I show up, and this place is beautiful. Racetrack is awesome. Pretty banked, actually. I don't think you can really tell on the broadcast, but very banked. Top of the line short track facility. And I was like, Reed, you have not spent enough time at Hickory. Subtle Hickory dig.
Well, I haven't gone to Hickory either. I guess I'll try this year.
So, yes, the racetrack itself, beautiful. I hope one day we can go back. And I hope when we go back, we clean up the product a little bit because you'll hear from Dale talking about it a little later. Wasn't great. We started the show. Well, by we, I mean the series started the show around 7:45. The pros took the green.
It was that late?
7:45. It was supposed to be a 7 o'clock start, so we were 45 minutes behind as is. They were, I gotta stop saying we. They were 45 minutes behind as is, and then Connor Hall took the checkered flag in the late model stock race at 11:40. A 4-hour late model show. Way too damn long.
Yeah, that's excessive.
No, and it got cold, and that place was packed when they started. By the time they finished, it was probably about half full. Has a lot to do with the weather. It dropped like 20-something degrees. But also, people got tired of 17 million red flags and sitting there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And they're missing shifts on every other restart. We're at the top level of late model racing. Why are we still missing shifts?
Yeah.
And there's repeat offenders of the problem. And it's an issue that people got to figure out because that's an expensive mistake.
Yeah.
You miss a shift, not only are you probably tearing the transmission out of yours, you're tearing up 5 guys behind you that now have to fix that race car. So, and it just created a really messy race. I mean, we got to the point where guys were running out of gas again because we had run so many caution laps. And it just was cautions, breed cautions, breed cautions, breed cautions, breed cautions. And it felt like that race was never going to end. We got to about 20 to go. And then after that, it was just over and over and over and over. Yeah. I think we restarted the race 5 times inside 20 to go.
I'm so glad. I'm really glad I forgot to watch the race live and watched it in the morning because I could just skip all this.
Skip through the late model, a 2-hour late model stock feature, folks.
Well, that's
2 hours between when they took the green and when they took the checker.
I pulled up the feature on Flow and immediately texted Chuck 2 freaking hours. Like, really? Is that a typo?
And that was what we had to sit there and watch. But the racing at the front of the field. Oh, they got to figure out a different method for caution laps. I don't know if the answer is count caution laps until 20 to go. I don't know if the answer is have a number of caution laps you run before you just bring everybody down to put fuel in them. Yeah. Something has to change there, or we're going to keep running into this whole fuel issue. Like Landon Huffman said, we're late model stock car racing. We shouldn't be fuel mileage racing.
Yeah.
There's no reason you should be running out of gas with a 22-gallon tank. So take that as you will. Racing at the front of the field was fantastic. Connor Hall, Minnie Tyrell had a great battle. They seem to be, the favorites. We'll talk about both of them here in a second. And I know you saw it. Old Doug Barnes Jr. took a trip to the pasture.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was something.
That was pretty funny. People at home had a better view than I did. I just looked up at the video board and I was like, "Oh, Doug is in the watermelon field." Like, there's no walls there for people that don't know. So he got off on the back straightaway and just spun and went straight off. And then the drone shot, dude, it looked like Frank from Cars realizing Mater and Lightning were out there making the tractors tip over and comes flying out of the woods with the lights on. That's exactly what it looked like.
It kind of reminded me, it wasn't obviously as spectacular, but it kind of reminded me of when Brad Sweet completely yeeted James McFadden off the racetrack.
That was a little different. That was
a little different, but just like the end result of where they ended up, and it kind of looked similar. But that was always
James ended up in a parking lot, not a watermelon field. So.
Yeah, and a way more comical image, but
yes.
But anyway,
similar.
I like bringing that up anytime I can because it's hilarious.
It is hilarious, dude. Anyway, the race happened and Connor Hall won.
That he did.
Apparently, I didn't talk to him. Anthony talked to him. Anthony Damcott mentioned on the show. Connor said I suck. Connor said I suck at interviews now, so I'm gonna have to fly Anthony down here for every Cars Tour race.
I mean, it's good though. The more Anthony Damcott you can get, the better. Like, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Connor's definitely the championship favorite, right?
Yeah.
If this is like we're officially on this now.
He's the Alex Palou of this series right now.
Okay.
He has a best finish of first that he's done twice and a worst finish of second. I don't see how you make the argument that he's not.
Connor Hall is Alex Palou.
Hello, Palou. I don't know. It's true.
Hall-O.
Now, Connor, if you are listening, don't take that. Don't let that blow your head up too much. Okay. Like,
oh, he did. He's sitting there like grinning.
I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call you Alex next time I see you, and just see if you're paying attention.
He's not.
He's not. Well, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, worst start of what? I think he's got a worst. Okay, no, not a worst start. He did qualify.
He had a bad qualifying
like balls at Wake County, but
yeah.
a worst finish is second. A pole. So he's off to a hot start. Not really much else to say. I mean, I don't think he had the best car. I think Minnie had a better long run car, but they kept eating shit behind him, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Minnie though, I don't know who you would have picked to be Connor's biggest title threat. I wasn't going to pick Minnie to start the year, but I am pleasantly surprised to see how fast they are.
I remember who I picked, and it was not Minnie. But ultimately, based off the way they ended last season, I'm not shocked that they've been as good as they have.
No, I mean, me neither, but I thought they'd be good. I didn't think they'd be like this good.
Where were they at New River? I don't remember.
Well, we didn't really get to see at New River. They qualified top 5 and then plowed in the back of Jake Bowman when he missed a shift. So on lap 5.
A recurring theme this season.
Yeah, missed shifts. But
yeah.
Anyway, so if it wasn't for that, dude, they'd probably be tied in points right now.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to assume, you don't have to, but it's safe to assume that at some point Connor will run into an issue. And if they keep this up, they're going to be right there.
Yeah, for sure. So good for Minnie. That battle at the front was like so refreshing.
Yeah.
The past couple weeks in not really the Cars Tour, but more so like NASCAR. All we've seen is guys either A, not being able to pass at the cup level, or B, just running each other over at the Xfinity level.
Yeah.
And what we got was, I mean, they swapped the lead, raced side by side, never laid a fender to each other. And it's so refreshing to see guys at the front of the field race hard and race with respect and put on a good show. Because like that's the type of racing that needs to happen to tra- translate it to the higher levels. Because as okay, that's the statement I was going to say is wrong, but as these guys move up from late model racing or ARCA or whatever to the trucks and Xfinity series, they need guys like that race like that as an example to look up to see how you should race. And
Yeah.
if everybody does more of that, the issues will fix themselves. The problem is that's not very common. The common courtesy of racing with respect isn't very common anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gotten way out of hand, and I'm glad. Luckily, being in the Cars Tour where you can't make contact with someone and it end up in a caution and keep your spot, I think that helps.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
and they
it's starting to
there's an
trickle
example.
down to it's starting to trickle back to being a respectful series. It started to get a little out of hand there at certain points last year, and it's kind of reined itself back in, it seems. So happy to see that for sure.
And just a note on that rule. They sent Tristan McKee to the back for when he missed a shift and Ronnie Bassett ran over him, and Tristan kept going. 100% the right call because he missed the shift. He caused the caution.
Yeah.
He made contact with another car that spun it. Now, he happened to be the car ahead in this rare instance, but he was still the cause of the incident. Therefore, 100% correct with that ruling.
I will have to get further clarification on all of the ins and outs of it at some point. I don't know who I'll have to talk to about that, but there are certain scenarios in my head where I've contemplated how that would go in race control. But anyway, that is a different conversation for a different day.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and talk about Ryan Millington, who actually was my pick to kind of challenge Connor Hall this year.
I think it was mine too, honestly.
Yeah, I think we agreed on that take. They've been fast. They have no luck this year so far, it doesn't
None.
seem. He
Absolutely
had
none.
what did he have go wrong this week?
Alternator.
Alternator.
So they
Yeah.
had problems with it all weekend, and Buddy, good friend Buddy, talked to Scott Millington pre-race, and Scott told him if they had a red, they were screwed.
Mm.
Well, old Doug Barnes proceeded to go fishing for watermelons like 10 laps into the race, and they had a red.
Yeah.
And the car didn't refire, and then right after the restart, it died.
Yeah.
So it
That's
sucks because they are fast, and if they had any bit of luck, they'd be right there in the points battle. And I almost think it's a good thing for them right now that they're not, because a Ryan that is not in the points battle is a Ryan that's just going to go for wins. He's just going to go out there and try and win every race he can. And that, as a result, is probably going to help them claw back into the points battle should guys like Minnie and Connor stumble.
Yeah.
So I feel like at this point, they're not in a horrible position because they're coming to some racetracks he's really good at, and they're just going to go all in, try and win.
Yeah.
Because the best way to gain points is to win the race. So, another guy that's actually been really fast is Ronnie Bassett Jr.,
Yeah.
which it's a shame that he also missed out on what was going to be a really good run because of a missed shift at the end of the race. Because they've had like top 5 speed all year, top 7 at the worst. He was sitting second in points coming into Cordele, and he was probably going to leave third or fourth in points. So shout out to Ronnie, man. Good to see them running good. And Landon. Landon actually put together a run this week and didn't draw the bad fate of black magic to find a way to lose it.
Black magic.
Dude, Landon Huffman has found a way to miss out on a good run in every single way imaginable over the past couple of years. So
This is true.
there's no telling what gremlins could bite that race car on any given night. So see them actually finish a runoff was nice.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, it's good to see, especially after the super disappointment that was Wake County for them to immediately
Yes,
rebound and come back the way they
have
did.
speed.
But yeah,
There was another guy that raced. What's his name?
Ralph something. Oh, I'm sorry.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Sorry. I got it. Oh, fuck, that's Dale Jr.
There goes the no
Dolly.
bombs right there.
Yeah, I had to throw it in that one. I think that's
Oh, Dolly. Dale
Dolly.
raced. Not an entirely eventful race for Dale. He didn't qualify as bad as he normally does. I don't remember where he
Not
started.
Florence bad though, right?
No. He started 15th. Thanks for clarification, Chunk. Shout out Chunk, man.
Shout
So
out to Chunk.
inspirational.
Yeah.
Um
Gotta love the Chunk.
So Dale started 15th, ran top 10 most of the night. Was not saying he was a non-factor, but he was kind of stuck no better than 8th all night.
Yeah.
And then gained a couple spots with others' misfortune on restarts, and then Carson Lofton missed a shift in front of him with 8 to go, and that was that. Also, they restarted on that restart 3 wide back there for like 15th. I don't know if the broadcast showed that or not.
I didn't catch that.
I think they got tired of trying to get him in the right spot and just said, screw it, we're going green. Because they were 3 wide for like, they chose, and then they got 3 wide. They were arguing over position, and then they stayed 3 wide, and then they threw the green, and we were all like, okay. And then just as that happened, the 22 misses a shift, and there goes Dale. So
yeah,
talking to Dale afterwards, it's always fun to talk to Dale because he's always got such insightful things to say. It's really neat to have a guy like Dale that has such high status in the sport sit there and break down all of our questions and give long thought out answers. Like he talked to us for almost 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Nobody does that anymore. So the fact that he is generous enough with his time, I really appreciate.
Well, Dale's there to grow the series and the general division of late model stock racing. So yes, he's going to be generous with his time.
Yeah. And I think it helps. So he mentioned it helps to have him in the car because
And another chunk corruption.
Get out.
Chunk, we are busy. Talking about Dolly.
It helps to have Dale in the car, which he mentions in the video, because it gives him a sense of what is going on in these races so that when teams and drivers come and complain to him, he knows what they're talking about. So he was, aware of the changes that they need to make to get an earlier show in. And he kind of tied that in when I asked him about Wilkesboro. I asked him about the whole Wilkesboro deal and the fact that he's going to be in the booth. And he mentioned, they're going to have to do a lot better job, especially under cautions, getting the field right than they did at Cordele. And they have been, because they're going to have an hour and a half window to get that race in. No more. And if they go over an hour and a half, they're going off the air without a finish. So it's going to be show up, get in your race cars, race. If we have a yellow, and hopefully we're not missing shifts, like seems to be a trend at Wilkesboro. Hopefully we get that race in the hour and a half window, because I think it's a really big opportunity for the sport. Talked about that. He talked about Hickory. So if you guys want to hear some really good Dale insight, go give it a listen.
Yes. And be sure to go watch all of the interviews on Front Stretch Grassroots from this past weekend.
Yeah. We appreciate all the support on any of them, not just the Dale video. And go watch all of our videos here too, because when I'm not around, Seth still makes some pretty good content. So
I mean, you can call it that if you want, but
he does an IndyCar show called Push to Pass.
oh gosh, here we go. Someone watch it, please. Anyway, yep.
Anything else we got to talk about?
That pretty much covers it. If I'm being completely honest.
I think so.
Yeah. So Orange County in a couple weeks. Any bold predictions for that? Sounds like a no. Connor Hall gonna win again.
Bobby runs and Bobby wins.
All right. That's bold.
That's banking on the fact that Bobby's even gonna run.
Yeah. All right.
New River was the last time he ran.
I remember. No, I was gonna ask when the last time he won was.
New River last year.
Okay. I keep forgetting he won a race last year. I don't know why.
Me too, sometimes, honestly.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So we don't have anything else. He's been Chuck. I've been Seth. You've been the viewer. And this has been the previously named and now currently unnamed Cars Tour show here on Big Motor Small Blade. And we'll see you next time.